Danielle's ready, we will launch this.
All right, we're on.
Thank you, Danielle, and welcome everybody to our Monday night team call with our very special guest, my dear friend, and really somebody that I want to say mentor, like in a way. I kind of watch and listen, and I've learned so much from over all the years, but more importantly, like I just feel that you are one of those people, Kimberly, that is like this little starburst that shows up from time to time in my, mostly my Juice Plus experience and some outer experiences as well. And every time I just glean from that energy and from all that you have to offer. And I know that coming on this call tonight, we're so excited, one, to get to know you a little bit better, and two, to hear your story, but what you have to offer around the whole concept of team synergy and, you know, just that whole experience is unlike anything else that I've seen in this business. And I just think that we are so fortunate and so lucky to have you with us tonight. And with that, I'm just going to turn it over to you.
All right. Well, I'm excited to be on tonight with you guys. Thank you for those kind words, Melissa. And you guys get total like hot mess Kimberly. It's Monday. I did not shower. I did not get makeup on or anything for this call, but we're rolling with it. So that's kind of how I built my business. Like I just keep finding a way. And, you know, the personal growth journey is important in this business because you learn to think less about yourself and more about others. Or I just define it this way, you yourself so that you think of yourself less often and can totally focus on others. Now, 5 years ago, I would not have wanted to get on this call, like feeling so hot mess and scatterbrained and didn't take a shower today. But now I didn't care because I have done this work to just get over my darn self, and hopefully something in my story, something that I say will help you in your journey. And it's just this awesome joy to just pay it forward. So I just kind of wanted to give you that little glimpse to get started because I used to had so many fears and so many insecurities when I started this business to even think about leading a team or speaking in public or being on a team call like this and just being real with people was something I couldn't even have fathomed. And so for that part of this, have you guys heard that quote from David Beavers that says this business is a personal growth journey cleverly disguised as a business? It is so true. And that part of it is really cool because we get to overcome so many of our own fears and insecurities and then really help a lot of people. And that's the joy in the journey for sure. So I'll just start by going back to my story and then talking a little bit about one of my favorite topics, which is team chemistry. And I just love talking about my team. Like they light me up. I just am so forever grateful for the relationships in this business and that our business is so relational. Like what other job do you get to pick the people you want to work with? I mean, that is so stinking cool. And then you get to like do life with them too, like not just work with them, but you know, you get to really experience life and have fun together. How many of you guys have been to whoops, I can't see all of you right now, but how many of you have been to a Juice Plus conference? Have most of you been? Okay. If you haven't, I would say that is the first thing I want you to hear from me is get to your first conference in Austin. We just were on a team call. We figured it's 51 days away from Austin. But that is a really cool chance to see the big picture, but also to just like really connect with the relationships that are available to you in this business. And it's important that you have that connection because then it'll help you build a stronger team in your own business. So I'll get to that. But let me go back, and I get ahead of myself sometimes. Let me start with my story. So we're coming up on 15 years that I've been with the Juice Plus company. So it was fall of 2004 that I had told my mom for a year and a half that I was not interested in Juice Plus because I was 25 years old and, you know, I was young and didn't need it. And she was old and she needed it though. That's what I thought. I didn't say those exact words to her, but we joke about it now. And she was wanting to go to the Juice Plus conference, the fall conference is in Memphis, and I live in Nashville. So she flew here from Connecticut and said, will you give me a ride to the conference? So I'm thinking, sure, I'll have a weekend in Memphis. She can go do her conference thing, and it'll be like super fun for me to have a weekend off. I had no idea what was going to happen. And I will say, like, that experience, the people that I met, the stories that I heard, the just the inspiration, the kind of just the shift of being around such like positive, big-hearted people for a weekend totally changed my life for the better. Like that, I am forever grateful that she asked me for a ride, and that because otherwise I probably wouldn't have gone to the conference with her. So it was at that conference that I really began to think, wow, what if? I will say that the first time, I was working in a restaurant, so I had a lot of negativity in my life and a lot of drama. And so my first impression of like meeting all of these really positive, big-hearted people who were like just so excited about their future, I kind of was like, who gave these people happy pills? And then I found out they come in green and red and purple and now omega. And it's just so funny to me now that my perception was so skeptical, because I was kind of like, what in the world? Like, you can't be this happy. But they were, because they are a part of something that's mission driven and that's bigger than themselves, and that they're making a difference in the world. And the joy that's in that, you guys, if you haven't experienced that yet, like, it is a different level than most people live life. And if you've been in the juice, like I know some of you have been in this community, in the Juice Plus company for a while, you know that it's so different from what most people experience in their day-to-day lives or in their job. So that really got my attention. I began to really listen. And of course I stayed for the whole conference because I just loved the people that I was meeting, and I was just so intrigued by it. So the first thing I wanted to do was to start taking Juice Plus, because the education really got to me. But the second thing I began to think is, what if this could be my business someday? Like, what if I could be a mom and, have this income? Like, what if I could do this? Because I remember hearing Julie Herbst talking about doing this business with little kids at home. And so it really was kind of like a turning point for me and my perception on this business. And of course I started taking Juice Plus and had all these great health benefits over the next couple of months. My seasonal allergies were clearing up, my skin cleared up, my headaches went away. I started having more energy, sleeping better, like all these cool things. Added the complete shakes in January of 2005, and started, craving healthier foods, started working out more, started losing weight, like, the catalyst of changes that we see, right? It just led to more and more things. And so that's when people started asking me what I was doing. So in February of 2005 is when I decided, hey, why not pay $50? Join my mom's team. I'm sure it'll help, like, bless her. And I'll just share it with a few friends, and then maybe someday, like it was my someday business, someday maybe this will be something I can do more, to earn more money. So that, like, maybe I'll just kind of dip my toes in the water and see how this goes, like, led to, I did my VF in the first 60 days because I figured, why not? And then I just stayed there for a while. But what I did is I really engaged in the community. I went to all the conferences. I went to one boot camp a year. I went to all the events that were in Nashville. I really began to learn a lot. I began to grow. I began to get more excited about the bigger difference that this made in people's lives. I became a mom. And so I got really excited about the things that were happening in my son's health, and that he was so healthy. And that's probably my biggest excitement today. My kids are now 12, 6, 5, and then I've got an 11-month old baby. And I have never been to the doctor for a sick visit in 12 years as a mom, you guys. Like, that is amazing. Like, and it's because of Juice Plus in their bodies. And then it's also because of incredible things that I've learned from this community. Like, I learned at an event to feed your baby avocado as their first food. Like, I learned that from Dr. Sears, just awesome things that I just kept falling in love with this company more and more and more. So in 2000 and, I think in 2006, I made sales coordinator, like the slow way. And then in 2009, 2009, my husband and I had some financial, we call it our financial crisis. We had several things happen to us all at once within the 30-day period, and things were spinning out of control. And at that time, I was home with my son. I had left my job, and I was home with him. And I was making probably about $500 a month with Juice Plus. It was my fun money. I loved it, and I would engage in the community. But looking back, I only did the business when it was comfortable or when it was convenient for me. So like maybe I would do an event and then I'd get discouraged because somebody didn't come. And so I wouldn't do anything again for like 2 or 3 months, or, I was just very all over the place. So looking back on it, I didn't really have the respect to build a team because nobody really saw me as a business person or saw me serious about my goals in this business because I didn't really have any. And so I had a couple people that were on my team, but they just did it the same way I did it. They were just kind of like, oh, whatever, we love the product, we'll just do it. And that's totally fine, you guys. There's a lot of people in our company that do that, and that's okay. And I love those people on my team today. But when it got to the point where I just drew the line in the sand and said, I have to do it more as a business, not as a hobby. Like, it was great that I did it as a hobby for 6 years, but now my husband looked at me and he said, if we don't do something different, we're going to lose our house. And that's when I drew that line in the sand and I said, okay. I looked at him and I said, I'm going to go all in with Juice Plus and I am going to pay our mortgage. And he rolled his eyes at me. And so that really fired me up, and it struck something in me that I wanted to prove to him that I could do this. But I also, looking back on it, I realized that it hit something in me that had this desire to prove that I could be successful at something. And I don't know if any of you resonate with that, but I had changed my major several times. I had dropped out of college. I was always a good employee, but then any of my own projects that I would start, I never really started any businesses before Juice Plus, but just projects or things, even I would start around the house. A lot of times I didn't finish stuff that I started. That was a habit for me. And so he kind of looked at that and was like, yeah, right, you won't really do this. And he called me a professional dabbler. And so I was like, no, I really want to commit to this, and I am going to see this through. So I remembered that my upline, Bob Burdick, had said, which are you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are in the Burdick organization, right? Okay, I had to think about that. I get all fascinated about the different family trees, and so we're like cousins. That's so cool. So I remember Bob saying, if you want, he'd always said, if you want your business to pay you like a business, you have to treat it like a business. And I remember him saying, you can go out and get more customers if you wanted to add to your Juice Plus paycheck, but if you want to multiply your Juice Plus paycheck, you have to go out and share the business. And that was the thing I was terrified of, you guys, because I could share the product all day long because I was so confident that it was changing people's lives. And so I attached this passion to it. But what I was totally missing was how much our business and how much our community changes people's lives. And I get so excited about that today. And because of that, I have so much confidence in sharing the business and inviting people into the business, or even just inviting people into the community. I invite people to conference that I'm not even, started on our product. Why not? Our team does. We invite people, hey, come check out our company, be around awesome people for the weekend, come to Austin with us. And it's amazing how many people will join us because they always start the product, but a lot of them will join us in the business too, because they see the big picture and they see what's available. And, our community changes lives just by that belonging and that sense of purpose. And then our business certainly changes people's lives with whatever level of finances that people want out of it. So I knew I needed to share the business and invite. I had so many insecurities about being a leader. But I knew how to be a good team player. And so I started working with my upline is Pamela Sue. She's my mom's sponsor. And I look back and you know how you can see things in hindsight. And she told me that she remembers the time that she thought I would be an incredible team leader was when I helped her plan a team party at a conference early on in my journey, and kind of got all the team rallied around it. And she said, because you contributed to the team that you were a part of, you became a great leader of a team because you got the concept of you reap what you sow. And I wish I had it with me. I think I gave it to somebody to borrow, but I really wanted to recommend a book to you guys called Soup by John Gordon. It's the best book that I've ever read about team culture and about kind of creating that team environment. And it really all comes back to, what are you willing to contribute? What do you put in? Basically, if you think of a pot of soup, what do you put into that soup? And I truly believe that whatever we contribute comes back to us. And because I became coachable and teachable and really became a champion for my team leaders, especially my mom. And that was really easy because I wanted her to succeed so bad. Like any one of her goals, I'd rally the whole team together and be like, let's help her get to this goal, And now I can see that there's people on my team that have done that for our goals because I did it for my uplines. Ray Higdon talks a lot about this too. When you value and edify your team leader, your team sees that and they start doing that for you. And it's this whole spiral of duplication that happens. So when I look at chemistry now, I have an amazing team. They are some of my best friends. And some of the things that I brought to that pot of soup that I know that they have paid it forward and we've continued to duplicate this in our whole team is a ton of love. And I know that maybe sounds like so basic, but in order to truly love people hard, like we say, find your tribe, love them hard. That's a little motto on our team. You have to commit to growing yourself so that you can love people better and not be hung up on their little mistakes or, the things that usually cause drama or friction in relationships. You got to be able to look past those things. And the best way to do that is to, really embrace your own growth and walk through your own insecurities, because the more confident you are as a person, the less those things bother you. And you can truly just love people so well. And so for that journey, I'm so grateful because there is, and my leadership team talks about this all the time. We're there is no drama in our team, but that's because we really had to do the work to, grow ourselves and to really understand that was going to be what helped create amazing chemistry. And so we also, a lot of communication is really important. You guys being on this team call is so awesome. Do you guys do this weekly?
Yeah.
That's how we started. We just started with a weekly connection call. And a lot of times it was just sharing wins with each other and just encouraging each other. And that built this core group of people that were cheering each other on. And then it's so great to just add people to that. And I know you guys have that at your core. So you just picture it as we're just an ever expanding circle of friends. There's room for everybody. And so then when you have that it's in high school when, you'd have your okay, us four and no more. And then you'd have, actually, I don't think you have this in high school, but in our business, we have oh, come on along. There's room for everybody, but you still treat them like they're part of the inner circle. Right. And then it just grows and grows and grows and grows. So that is, being confident about sharing the business and then really loving my team so hard, and just a lot of communication is how we built our core group. And then the last thing I'll share that was such a key part of our recipe, and I'm hoping you guys have this too. I think you probably do, knowing Melissa, but is a ton of fun. One of my favorite quotes ever is, people rarely succeed unless they're having fun doing what they're doing. And that's by Dale Carnegie. And that fun element is, I mean, it's so kindergarten, right? But that is the one of the ingredients in amazing culture that just cannot be taken lightly, because everybody in the world is attracted to more fun, right? Whether it's healthy living journey, it's this business, it's the personal growth journey, whatever it is, if you're having fun, then people want more of it and they want to be a part of it. So having fun together as a team, like whatever you guys do, I mean, we did silly stuff. Like sometimes on our team call, we'd say, okay, everybody grab your favorite, like fruit or vegetable from the kitchen and like, do a picture on Zoom. Like, I mean, we did kitchen tools one time and everybody's like holding up a kitchen tool, like totally, we did ugly sweater Christmas party on Zoom a couple years ago, and we all had our ugly Christmas sweaters. We do some fun stuff for team parties. In fact, just this last conference, we did a teal team party. We called it paint the town teal. We rented a party bus, and everybody was supposed to dress in black and teal. And so I'm the leader. You never want to expect your team to do stuff that you don't do, right? So I had to have the most fun so that they would all have fun, right? I bought, and I still can't believe that this is just a testament to my growth journey, but I brought this, how do I describe it? It's like this kind of like, looked like scales, like mermaid scale, like onesie that I rocked. I'm telling you, we got some looks when we were around town. They're like, who the heck is that? But, just being able to be yourself and have fun with the people that you're working with is so key to building that culture where people want to be a part of and, want to have fun. And so, getting excited about, making the wins fun, whether it's one customer or you had one person show up at your event, like you celebrate that and you celebrate all those small wins, and that just, really creates that fun and that positive excitement. Like we learned early on to not allow our brains to focus on what wasn't working, but always when we had a disappointment, like somebody didn't show up or a customer cancels, right, to always replace that with something that we could be excited by. And when you can replace that quickly in your brain, that you get what you focus on. And so do you want to continue to dwell on the canceled customer and get more of those? Or do you want to dwell on something that is working, like a new friend that you just talked to at the grocery store, or, an event you're excited by? And, any tool that we use in our business, whether it's, one-on-one conversation, it's a coffee date, it's an event that we invite to, the more fun you have, the more contagious it is. That people feel that energy and they're more compelled to come be a part of whatever it is you're doing or whatever you're inviting them to when, they feel that energy. So those are a couple things. And then just to kind of finish up my story, I'm just so grateful for this kind of core group of people that came on along with me, but I never stopped there. I kept sharing the business and kept inviting. And so my team made NMD. I made NMD with, we got excited about the bonus programs too. That's really contagious when you get excited about the bonuses, and, people are like, ooh, what do I need to do to earn one of those bonuses? So I had 7 sales coordinators that fast-tracked to sales coordinator, and then made NMD. And then I went on to build 5 more of those in the next 2 years. And that built an incredibly wide structure for my team that has now duplicated. And it got to the point where a year and a half ago, I had a really challenging pregnancy and needed to have a season where I was focusing on my family, and went through some marriage things that I needed to focus on. And you know what? This team was just it was like a rolling, a ball rolling down the hill. It's so amazing when you get to that point in your business that your team just carries on everything that you got going. And so if you have a season where you need to step away and focus on family things, it's that, you have that time freedom, because they have contributed to the culture. It's not all me. You know, that's another thing as a leader, like just affirming people for the different things that they bring to the pot of soup, right? You know, affirming the different strengths and stuff, and allowing, you know, all of us to rise together. And so that is, I mean, my team is just, I mean, I'm trying to describe, I mean, they know how much I love them, and they know that I am not perfect. I tell them all the time, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not perfect. But one thing I can be so confident on is that I do have their best interests at heart. So when we do hit bumps in the road sometimes that we have to communicate through, it is, you know, it's just part of the process in relationships. But we have so much fun together, and they know, we know that together we achieve more, like we help more people. That was the other thing that Bob Burdick taught me, is like, you can only impact a certain amount of people with the time and the hours that you have and the people that you know. But when you have a team together working, then you all together can impact thousands of people. And I remind them of that all the time. I cannot impact the thousands of people that are on Juice Plus and through my team alone. I need us all working together to do it. And so valuing their own contribution, whether they have one customer or they have, you know, 40, just being able to value what we all do together is an important part of our soup, our pot of soup. So we think of our team culture as a pot of soup. I love that book. I am so grateful that right now our team is on fire, and we are headed to 100 Club by December. That's our current goal that we're excited about. And, you know, everybody loves having a piece to play. So I love Melissa so much. And I'm just hoping that anything that I said that you guys kind of resonated with, that you can take from my story, that was encouraging to you. But the last thing I have to say, and I always have to say this when I share my story, is when you hear about like my success, you have to know that if I can do it, anyone can do it. Because I seriously believe that with to the depths of my being, that there is nothing special about me. I don't have any background. I mean, I dropped out of college. There's nothing in me that would have made me like really amazing at this business. But I became teachable. I was willing to work, like to just pour, you know, so many hours and energy into people and to help them. And then there's a third one, but I totally lost my train of thought. So see, I'm not perfect. You don't have to be perfect to do this business. Keep it real. Just keep it real. Just and embrace the personal growth journey. That is key. Find a system of personal growth that works for you, and that just stay the course with that. Because it is just invaluable to be able to be a more confident person so that you can love other people better. I just cannot emphasize that enough. And I didn't see that part of the personal growth journey. I always heard how important it was, but I didn't know how much it would help me love people better. And for that, I'm grateful, because I just have always had a heart to serve and make a difference in the world. And so if I can do it, anybody can do it. Back to you, Melissa.
Oh, Kimberly, you're the best. I just thank you so incredibly much. I just want to highlight some of the things, and if you guys can either unmute yourself or type them in down below so Kimberly you can show her what stood out to you. I think that's so important for a speaker, because, you know, we get onto these calls sometimes and, you know, and you're talking, you want to know that when you left, that time was well spent, right? And really made an impact there. I did hear Soup, the book, right, by John Getter. Is it Goder? Did I get that wrong?
John Gordon.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Can you read my handwriting? There we go.
So, hey, my other team call is starting though, so I have to jump off on you guys, but I love you so much.
Thank you, Kimberly, so much for doing this for us. We appreciate you so very much.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Yeah, are we
Thanks, Kimberly. That was awesome.
Great, thank you.
Behind you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
All right, if you guys want to hang for a quick second here, just so we can wrap up, because I do want to finish those thoughts. I heard her say and I don't know if you heard this, but a ton of love. Like I heard that 3 or 4 times. And the cool thing about that was that when, you know how we all adopted, not all of us, but a lot of us adopt a word for the year. That was my word for this year, was love in all capitals. And I love so much that it keeps showing up and resonating through all the speakers and the things that we're doing. It's just been so amazing. What did you guys, is there anything that stood out to you that you want to just shout out because it really gotcha?
Yes.
Greta?
And I think you'd agree with me. I think we know each other well enough for you to agree that as soon as she said, the more confidence you have in yourself, the less all those other things will matter. The more you can overlook the frivolous things in life. And it hit me because of stuff that's been going on in my family lately, and it just applies everywhere. And I know it's true.
I lost my.
And pouring from that full cup, right? Like learning how to really fill your cup up so that you have something to give, you know, to others. I think that's
right. And not letting anybody take any sips that don't deserve the sips.
Yes. Very, very true. Okay, Amanda just wrote down here. Let me pull that up. She said, I connected so much to her personal stories. I've been struggling with getting out of my own way and how real she was. Really enjoyed her. Perfect. That's what this is all about, you guys, is just sharing, you know, experiences and stories. One of the things I love so much about Kimberly, I mean, she showed up the same way I did. I was like, oh my gosh, I had all these family things and kid stuff that showed up that prohibited me from blow drying my hair, which I wanted to have done ready for this call. But you know what? The reality is that you don't have to impress anybody with this business. You just have to be authentically you and show that anybody can do it, right? She's got 4 kids, a huge team, and a busy schedule, and yet she shows up every day. And I think that was another big message, was the showing up piece, right? Just show up, show up, show up. What else? What else have we got? Anne, go ahead. You're muted. Hold on, you're muted.
How's that?
Okay.
Was that? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it tied in with last week, even though I wasn't on. And quite frankly, I'm glad in a way I wasn't, because it was a tough call to try to think of our strengths. And this one really tied into it, because you start thinking, even all week I've been trying to think, you know, it's always easy to think of the negative things about us. Like, I got to work on this and I should be more of that. But like, when you have to think of, so love was just so important, because like Greta said, we're left, and I do find it, like when I have conversations like with my family or a friend, and maybe I went to go text that last thing, but it's not important, because it was really because we love that person. So we don't have to say those stupid things that we do. And you do get just the growth through this, from just the inspiration from everybody. It's like, oh God, I almost feel like I want to cry. It's like, it's just nothing I've ever known. Oh, it's really nice.
But that's so special and so awesome. Thank you so much for saying that, you know, and you think about that love piece. So I didn't tell her anything of what we've done so far. We've been working on all this.
Oh my gosh.
That she called that out. Isn't that interesting?
Wow, that is.
More nuggets in there of the things that we've been pulling together as a team and talking about behind the scenes. And yeah, and that was really special. I kept saying, you know, affirming each other's differences and affirming each other's, you know, gifts, and that, like, you know, that's the challenge I just want to bring to the whole team, is like, how, like, are you contributing with all of what you got? You know what I mean? Like, what you pour in. I didn't tell her anything on that. She did that all herself, and it was all what you put in is what you're going to get out, right? And in this next chapter, as things start to really expand and grow, like, you guys are the ones that were here before. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have a stake in the game. Like, this is your chance to really rise up and impact the larger group in a huge way. So that soup analogy is amazing. I can't wait to get that book. You know? Like, Amazon can't get it here fast enough, you know? Anything else before we wrap this up? I know Chris Ann said, commit to growing yourself so you can love people better. Wasn't that beautiful? And embrace your growth. Yeah, 100%.
I loved how in her own story, how she mentioned about herself, how when she started out, she was very insecure as a leader, or maybe even seeing herself as a leader, which I think, you know, I certainly, you know, can relate to that, but she was a good team player. And I think that really does translate in, like, sometimes we step into this experience and we might not have the vision to see ourselves as a leader. We might not want it, or whatever, right? It could be for a whole slew of different reasons. But being a good team player, I mean, that kind of translates across the board, regardless of where you want to take this business or what level you want to. You know, everybody can benefit from being a good team player. That kind of really resonated with me.
Yes.
And I've always said it a little bit differently, but the same concept. It's just that I really truly believe in my core that you have to learn how to be a team member before you can grow a team. Like when you start to show up in those ways, when you start to contribute in those ways, when you're the dependable, accountable, which you're planning the parties and you're like doing all those things, that's when you rise, right? Because it becomes so much more natural and people start to look at you that way. And then it's so much easier to make that introduction invitation, you know, because people are already seeing that light. Yeah.
And it's exactly what she said, you know, what are you willing to put in, and whatever it is that you contribute is what you end up in turn getting back. And that's right. That really does paint that picture.
Yeah. That was amazing. I also loved what she said about Bob Burdick, because I have not heard him say that. But he said if you wanted to add to your paycheck, you add customers. If you want to, what did he say?
If you want to multiply it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to multiply.
Yeah. That I thought was such a beautiful illustration, right, of the significance of going wide and what the business has to offer too. Because that really is, you can leverage your time and leverage your income. Okay. Anything else? Last one. Are you guys happy we did this? I'm trying to shake it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, she was great.
Smaller call too, you know, because then it's a little bit more intimate. But
I love the fact that she showed up as a hot mess.
Come as you are. Come as you are.
Yes. That's the one you need to get.
All right, you guys. Well, I think that's the end of the call. Thank you so much for getting on. Thank you for your big smiles and the and we'll make sure to send her that recording and thank her when you see her at conference. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Excellent.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
If Lily this is my teammate, Lily. I don't know how many of you have met her yet, but she's awesome. So
Welcome, Lily.
You know her, she must be.
Excellent.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Night.
Yes.